Welcome to the Nourish to Thrive podcast, faith-forward, science-backed strategies for women who want more energy, less weight, and real answers. I'm your host, Tanya Pennington-Miller, a functional nutritional therapy practitioner and functional blood chemistry specialist with a master's degree in applied clinical nutrition. If you're tired of feeling dismissed by your doctor, confused by your labs, and stuck in survival mode, you're in the right place. Here, we simplify the science. We get to the root, and we anchor it all in truth, because God made your body to heal and thrive, not just survive. It just needs the right kind of support and less noise. Hello, my friend. Welcome into the Nourish to Thrive podcast. I'm so glad you're back with me today. We are continuing our series called What Your Body is Trying to Tell You. And today we're talking about something that I hear very often in this season, and that is that my body just feels inflamed. And usually when women say that, they're not talking about just one specific thing. It's kind of this more of an overall feeling. So that might look like joint stiffness. It might look like puffiness, especially in the face or the midsection. Maybe rings are fitting tighter than they used to, or just kind of a general sense of swelling or heaviness in the body. And for many women, this happens even though their habits maybe have not changed very much. So today we're going to just kind of slow this down and we're going to walk through what might actually be signaling beneath the surface. Okay. So inflammation isn't just something that shows up out of nowhere. It is a response to something. It is your body reacting to something that it's having to deal with. Something that feels like stress to your body, that feels like irritation, or just an imbalance at a physiological level. And in your 40s and beyond, the system becomes more sensitive to what it's being exposed to and more sensitive to what it's been carrying over time. So what used to stay just kind of more in the background starts to show up more clearly now, because the body is now responding to an accumulated load in a more visible way than it used to. Okay, so let's go through the signals your body may be communicating to you. So the first signal has to do with gut stress. Okay, this is one of the first places I look when somebody tells me they feel inflamed, because the gut plays a central role in how the immune system responds. In fact, a large portion of your immune system is located in your gut. It's like around 70 to 80%. So when the gut is under stress, and that can be from foods that aren't sitting very well, from, digestion that just feels off, from gut bacteria being out of balance. I mean, it can be a number of things. The immune system starts to pay attention to that. And when the immune system is more active, inflammation tends to go up. And not just in the gut, but throughout the entire body. And that can look like more joint stiffness, more puffiness, more water retention, skin feeling more reactive. And again, it could be that overall sense of feeling inflamed. So what feels like this full body issue going on is often being influenced by what's happening in your gut. And this isn't just about digestion. It's about the immune system being more activated than it needs to be, which is what's driving that inflamed feeling. Okay, let's move on to signal number 2, blood sugar instability. Because when blood sugar is moving up and down throughout the day, higher peaks, bigger drops, just kind of more of that back and forth, the body experiences all of that as stress. And one of the ways the body responds to that stress is through increased inflammation. And this becomes more relevant in the season that we're in right now, ladies, because insulin sensitivity can start to shift during this time, meaning it's now easier for us to become insulin resistant. So the body doesn't always handle those swings as smoothly as it used to. So you might be eating pretty well overall, but you might also still have some patterns like going too long without eating, starting the day with coffee and waiting too long to eat your first solid meal, not getting enough protein in early in the day, or just relying on those quick grab and go foods when life gets busy. And all of those patterns can lead to more fluctuation than you realize, which then feeds into that inflamed feeling in the body. So again, this isn't just about food being good or bad. It's about how stable things feel to your body throughout the day. Signal number 3, let's talk nervous system load. And this is another piece that I see often, especially in women in this season. It's that your nervous system is carrying a higher load, and stress doesn't just like stay in your thoughts. It doesn't just stay in your brain. Your body responds to that stress. And over time, that response can start to show up as inflammation. It shows up as this gradual shift in how the body feels. And when your system stays in more of that constant go mode without much space to come down, it keeps the body slightly activated. And that ongoing activation feeds into inflammation. So your nervous system, your stress load, and inflammation are all tied together. So the more your system is carrying, the more likely it is to show up physically in this way. Okay, let's move on to signal number 4. Let's talk detox and clearance. And this is another layer that I think often gets overlooked. Your body is constantly processing and clearing what it is exposed to every day. This can be hormones, environmental exposures, just normal metabolic byproducts. Even just from healthy foods that you're eating. And that's all happening behind the scenes all the time. But in this season that we are in now, when the overall load is higher, that process doesn't always happen as smoothly, simply because it's having to handle more at one time. So instead of everything moving through and just kind of clearing the way it should or the way that it used to, some of that starts to back up. And when that happens, it often shows up as inflammation, right? More fullness in the face or the midsection. Maybe a heavier, more sluggish feeling in the body, or just your body not feeling as comfortable as it normally does. Maybe you're noticing it when you go to, button your jeans. And I think the areas where we really tend to notice this inflammation the soonest is in our face, in our hands, right? With how our rings are fitting, or the midsection. Am I right? So again, this is the body reflecting that it's dealing with more than it can comfortably keep up with at one time. Okay, let's move on to signal number 5. And this one has to do with this idea that we just have a lower resilience now in the season that we're in. Like our bodies simply have less buffer than they used to. So we have less room to absorb a high stress day. We have less room to absorb a poor night of sleep, less room to absorb long gaps without eating, or just a week that has a jam-packed calendar. I don't know about you, but I feel it now after a night or two of not great sleep, or even if we have to wake up at like early 30 to catch a flight, right? Like I feel it. And because of this, because we have less resilience, things that didn't used to affect us so much, they do now. Like we feel it faster. We feel it sooner. It takes less now for our bodies to shift into that inflamed state. So, and it's important to understand here though, that inflammation in this case isn't the root problem. It's the body's way of communicating, right? Like it's a signal saying, hey, the overall load right now has gone beyond what I can comfortably handle. Okay. And that's a signal that we have to pay attention to. So let's move into now some practical shifts. So if your body has been feeling more inflamed, I want to just kind of go through some supportive places that you can start. So number 1, let's talk about digestion. How you eat matters just as much as what you eat. So it is so incredibly important to slow down at mealtime. Like slow down when you eat. Give your body the space to actually break food down. We need to get into our parasympathetic state before we eat. Take 3 deep breaths. Pray. Thank God for our food. Quite literally tell your brain that you're about to eat so that your body can actually start to produce all of the digestive juices that it needs to be able to break our food down, rather than just, shoving food in our pie hole while we scroll on our laptop, or, we're at a work meeting, or something like that. We really need to get into that parasympathetic rest and digest state before eating. It can also help to simplify your meals, even if it's just for a period of time. Like, just think of your meals in terms of choosing a protein source. That could be eggs, could be chicken, could be beef. Choose a healthy fat like avocado, okay, or butter. And then a simple side, like some cooked veggies, okay, sprinkle some sea salt on top of those. Like, nothing that's overly complicated, nothing with a long list of ingredients, like just meals that your body can easily recognize and process. The goal here is to make digestion feel easier on your system. Okay. I love simple meals. I mean, pretty much, that's just how I cook. I keep things so simple. Once in a while, I might throw in a recipe. If you're a recipe girl, maybe set that aside just for a period of time if this is an area that you need to work on. Okay. Number 2, it's important that we stabilize our blood sugar throughout the day. So this is really one of the quickest ways to lower that inflamed feeling. So start your day with a real meal. Like, don't just rely on your coffee to get through the first half of your day. I want you to build your meals around protein and fat first within the first hour to 2 hours of waking. Okay. And try not to go too long of stretches without eating. This is really going to help to keep your energy more steady, and it's going to help to reduce that stress response that feeds into inflammation. Yes, I appreciate fasting. Yes, I enjoy fasting, but we just have to understand what season are we in right now and what can our body handle right now. Okay. I think where we get in a lot of trouble really is with the unintentional fasting. So like, oh, I actually meant to eat 3 meals today, but the day just got away from me and I didn't. Like, that's unintentional fasting. If you set up, I want to go into a 24-hour fast tomorrow, great. That's intentional. Make sure you're eating enough today before going into that fast, right? When we unintentionally fast, we generally tend to like really undereat because we didn't pay attention to what we ate before going into that fast. So, we're probably going to overeat when we do finally get to some food. Okay. Number 3, lower your total daily load if you can. This isn't just about big stressors happening in your life. This is about your daily pace. So how full your days are, how often you're moving from one thing to the next, and whether there's any space to come down in between those things. One of the most helpful things you can do here is to really just kind of simply take a step back and look at what is currently on your plate. What are you saying yes to that could be a no in this season? Maybe there's something you agreed to in the past that you've continued to do because you agreed to do it at one point, but perhaps it's time for you to offload that thing. Where is your schedule fuller than it needs to be? Like, sometimes there's a few things that can be removed or shifted if we just give it that attention. That alone can lower the load that your body is carrying. And for those of you who are looking at your day and you're thinking, yeah, no, like there's really not much I can take off my plate right now. This is where we shift to how you're moving through your day. So even taking small intentional moments of breathing, like intentional breathing. Yes, we breathe to stay alive, but like intentional belly breaths, like pause between your tasks, give your system a minute to come back down. It can make a really big difference with how your body responds, because it's not just what's on your plate, it's how your nervous system is moving through those things. So truly take a few moments, pick a few times throughout the day. You should be able to pick a few times because this doesn't take very long to do. Breathe in for 4 seconds through your nose, breathe out through 8 seconds through your mouth. Do that, maybe 3 cycles of that, maybe 5 cycles of that. It doesn't take long. Do that a few times throughout your day. It can really help your system to settle more than you might expect. It can actually get you out of your sympathetic state and into your parasympathetic state. Okay, number 4, movement and circulation. daily, okay? We don't need more intensity here, but we do need consistency. So walking is one of the absolute best things that you can do right now. Just light movement, get outside, even just breaking up long periods of sitting, like all of these things help to keep things moving through the body because circulation and especially your lymphatic system really rely on movement to get going. So when you're sitting most of the day or you're just not moving too much, like you look at your steps on your watch at the end of the day and you're embarrassed, I'm talking to you, things tend to slow down. And that can contribute to that feeling of puffiness, to stiffness, to heaviness. So this doesn't have to be a full workout. Like we're literally talking about maybe a 10-minute walk after meals. Okay, just a few short walks throughout your day. Get outside for some fresh air, for some light. These simple things help your body to process and move through what it's carrying more efficiently. Okay, and then number 5, pay attention to what's adding up. Like inflammation is rarely about one single thing. It's usually about what's been adding up over time. So it's not just one meal, it's not just one stressful day, not just one poor night of sleep, but it's generally the combination of all of it. A few days of eating on the go, a handful of shorter night sleeps, a busy week where you've been just running from one thing to the next, maybe a little bit more caffeine and a little bit less movement. Like none of these things on their own feel like a really big deal, but together they really do start to stack. And the body responds to all of that accumulation. So instead of trying to be like perfect in any one area, it's more helpful to step back and ask, okay, what's been adding up for me lately? And then start to gently reduce where it makes sense. When your body feels inflamed, it's often a sign that it's been carrying more than it's been able to process, more than it has had space to recover from. And that's not separate from how you were designed. Like God didn't create your body to carry everything all at one time, to push through every demand, to absorb constant stress without consequence. He created your body with rhythms, with built-in signals that let you know when something needs attention, when something needs to slow down, when something needs to be supported differently. And inflammation can be one of those signals. And something asking for a different pace, a different kind of support, a different way of moving through your days. A reminder that you're not meant to hold everything on your own, that there's a limit to what your body was designed to carry. And that limit is not weakness, sister. Hear me on that. It is guidance. It is an invitation to come back into alignment, to release what you can, to create space where you need it, and to trust that God didn't leave your body out of his design. He built your body with intention. And when you begin to respond to those signals instead of pushing past them, the body often follows. It starts to settle, it starts to release, simply because you listened and you responded with wisdom. If your body has been feeling more inflamed in this season, I pray that this episode has been helpful for you. Next week, we are going to continue this series by looking at another really common experience I hear about, and that is why your motivation feels different in this season. Because just like inflammation, that shift is also telling us something about what's happening beneath the surface. So thank you for spending this time with me today, and I'll see you right back here next week, sister. That's it for today on the Nourish to Thrive podcast. If you found value here, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a review, or send it to someone who's walking a similar path. Keep showing up, keep asking questions, and know that healing is possible, especially when you trust the one who designed your body to heal. Until next time, stay rooted in truth and nourished in grace.